Meeting called to order at 3:07. Welcome, everybody, to this Board of Selectmen special meeting. It's Thursday, September 18th. I'm First Selectman Christine Vitale, joined by Selectwoman Brenda Kupchak. Ask you all to please rise for the pledge. Judge, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Appointment of Selectmen. To hear, consider, and act upon the appointment of Marcy A. Spolier, Democrat, 110 Brookridge Avenue, to fill the vacancy of Selectman for the term September 2025 through November 2027, to replace Christine Vitale, who is now serving as First Selectman. Motion?
So moved.
I will second that. For the public's sake, when I was appointed First Selectman, a vacancy occurred in the Selectman seat. The Board of Selectmen has 30 days to fill that vacancy. At our last meeting, Ms. Kupchak and I had a discussion. She shared some of her thoughts about just wanting to keep civility and on the board and maintaining a collaborative environment to move the business of the town forward. I know that this process has been a lot of ups and downs in terms of state statute and the charter. We are, from the start, been following the charter and statute, first to guide the process of filling the vacancy in the First Selectman's office, and now filling the vacancy in the Selectman seat. I put Ms. Spolier's name on the agenda, moving her forward. I want to share my thought process. I've known Marcy for a long time, both as an elected official and then over the years as a friend. We met through public service, as so many of us, friendships develop when you spend long meetings together. She is currently serving as the moderator on the RTM, and in my opinion has fostered an environment of civility on that body to promote discourse, regardless of political party, to move the work of our town forward. I also, over the last 2 months, in thinking of filling these vacancies, wanted to try to find someone who was very close to the electorate. So look to the legislative body, elected official, and who is a leader on that body. So that brought us to Marcy. Just to give some context, I don't know if you want to say anything, or I'll let Ms. Spolier just kind of give an introduction, if that would be helpful.
You want me to go up there?
Please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marcy Spolier. I live at 110 Brookridge Avenue. Thank you, First Selectman Vitale and Selectman Kupchak, for allowing me to be up here before you in consideration to fill the spot with you guys. I feel like I can get my feet right into the ground if you agree to appoint me to this board. Having served on the RTM for the last 8 years, I've served on multiple committees. I've served as Secretary of Public Works. I've served as Chair of the Education and Rec Committee. I've served on the Redistricting Committee, and I've served as Senior Disabled Tax Relief, as well as Deputy Moderator and Moderator for the last 2 years. I've tried to keep things very orderly and very fair. I believe that everyone's opinion matters, and even if we don't agree, we can keep respectful dialogue going. And I hope to continue in that matter if elected onto this board by both of you. I think that we might not always agree on everything, but we certainly can respect opinions of each other. I'm a physical therapist by trade. I work with people from all different backgrounds, mostly in the town of Fairfield. I'm in people's houses in the town of Fairfield. I see how they live. I see how they want to stay in town in Fairfield. I work in collaboration with a team of nurses and occupational therapists, and I work to strive to achieve patient goals that aren't necessarily my goals. And everybody has a different way of getting to an end, and we have to kind of work with each other to move the town forward, and I think it can relate to moving patient goals, people's goals forward. So I hope I have your support in joining you on the board. I look forward to the work, and I would appreciate it. Thank you.
And just for the public's sake, to fill this role, it needs to be the same party as I was, so Democratic Party, that is Sculler's party, and that's why, another reason why she is a candidate. Any discussion? Ready to vote? All right, any public comment? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. We welcome, we have
Thank you.
And so.
I have to send a letter of
So we have-
resignation
so
if
we
you
have a-
would like me to
We just have a
join
little
you.
bit of business. Ms. Foley needs to resign from the RTM, and then we can swear her in, and she can join us at the table, and we can conduct, you can get right to work.
How does that work?
She can,
Phil, how does that work?
I haven't,
Does she have
I
to
can
put it
send
in
an
writing?
email.
or-
I have an email ready.
yeah. All right. So hit
You want
send,
to,
hit send on that email. You know, I want to be official. This might be the first fall. I was just saying.
You're, well, yeah. It is.
of course, I'm not getting Wi-Fi in here.
It's right here.
I think it's sent. Let me just double check. Yep, it's all set.
All right. Caulfield?
You can sit by the ceiling.
Okay.
How's that? Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you, Marcia Spalier, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Connecticut, so long as you remain a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, the duties of the office of Selectman of the Town of Fairfield to the best of your abilities, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Should I come on up?
We don't have a nameplate, but we do have all of the backup for you.
I read it all online, but I was hoping it was in paper form.
Excuse me. All right. Okay. No, I may just leave you.
I'm going to take a quick picture for the town Facebook page, so everybody can look at me and
Wait one
smile.
second. I gotta get my cough out, I'm gonna leave the room. So, in terms of all of you.
Everything's contagious now, too.
Okay.
I really don't.
I know, I'm sorry.
Anymore.
You want a minute?
Thank you for the mint. I did take my allergy medicine this morning. It's very high ragweed.
Very bad today.
Your water bottle?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay. She brought you these.
Hold on.
Everybody takes good care of me here, I love it. All right.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. All right. September is National Senior Center Month. So on behalf of the board and the town, we'd like to thank all of the wonderful people, the staff and the volunteers for the wonderful job they do each and every day in support of our seniors and running the Bigelow Center. And we're going to move on to agenda item number 4, presentation of the age-friendly Fairfield Action Plan. To hear the presentation of the age-friendly action plan from Age-Friendly Advisory Committee.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us here today. I'm going to read. I usually like to be really short up here, but I just don't want to miss a thing. Brenda Steele, our Senior Center Coordinator, is here with me. You'll see, not everybody has this yet. It's online. This is our action plan. This has been 3 years in the making, an age-friendly action plan for the town. We're one of 8 communities in Connecticut who have achieved this designation. We started under Brenda's leadership 3 or 4 years ago, starting to do this long process of looking at different areas of the town to decide what we can address that could make it more age-friendly and what things we're already doing well. So Fairfield has always been a community where neighbors look out for one another and generations come together. Our plan is about keeping that spirit alive, honoring our seniors, supporting families, and planning for the future for all who call Fairfield home. We are grateful to the full team, to our residents who shared insight through surveys, listening sessions, meetings, and to AARP for guidance, and to our community partners, including Fairfield U and Sacred Heart, our town departments, Fairfield Senior Advocates, whose expertise and leadership shaped the work. We had a wonderful core group of volunteers, including Meg, who met monthly, sometimes weekly, over the course of this period. It was a tremendous amount of work, a lot of talking. Our action plan focuses on 5 key areas: health and wellness, communication, housing, social engagement, and transportation. The priorities are grounded in local input, informed by state and regional data, aligned with existing town efforts like walkability improvements, sustainable housing strategy, cultural programming, and recreation planning. What distinguishes Fairfield isn't just its beautiful landscape, but its people and the spirit of the community. From concerts on the green to programs at the senior center, from farmers markets to sunsets at the beach, Fairfield is a community where generations can connect. As we wrap up our senior center month, it feels especially fitting to present this action plan to you to celebrate the center and the people who make it such a special part of our community. As you know, we've been designated a focal point for aging by the Area Agency on Aging. It recognizes our senior center as a model for other communities in the region to follow. The center plays a unique and vital role in this vision. It's not only a hub for services and resources and activities, but a place where connection, dignity, and well-being come together, reflecting exactly what our age-friendly approach is. Fairfield's age-friendly action plan is more than just a roadmap. It's a reflection of who we are as a town. With the dedication of our leaders, the insights of our residents, and the strengths of our partnerships, we're planning with purpose for today's seniors, tomorrow's families, and every resident who calls Fairfield home. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you. Any questions?
No, just good job. I mean, really, everyone who worked on this. I know it's been quite a few years in planning, but you did a great job. And I did look at the not so glossy presentation before I came today. And I just want to thank you all for putting the effort in. I mean, it feels like so many people who spent so much time building our community, you know, paying taxes, donating their time to their local PTAs, and then when they get older, it's kind of like, okay, thanks.
Right.
Bye. And then that's not how it should be. And the senior center is a really welcoming place, and not a lot of people realize the services that you do provide that aren't just classes and lunch, but social services and a whole host of other assistance programs, because it is really hard for our seniors on fixed incomes. And so I just want to applaud you for your efforts and your hard work, and thank you so much for this presentation.
Thanks for your support.
I echo that, and attended some of these meetings. They were so interesting, and a lot of hard work from a lot of people, and the feedback from the community through the surveys, it was so thorough, and you looked at our town through so many different lenses, and you have our commitment to take this action plan and put it into action and not just have it sit on the shelf.
Thank you.
And also, you have an event tonight. Can people still go to the wine?
You know what, I'm going to leave that to Brenda. I'm not sure. It's Wine on the Water. It's our Friends of the Bigelow Center.
So I have the bad news, thanks. You may be able to stop in. It was, I think, sold out, but you know.
Pretty sure you
Show
can.
up, so I would stop by. We'd love to see anybody. So that's an
Yeah.
event by the Friends of the Bigelow Center. So yeah, we'd love to see you. It's at the pavilion and should be a really wonderful night.
Tell them Brenda sent you.
Yes, you can do that.
Brenda, thank you for all that you do.
Oh, our pleasure.
And extend our thanks to the committee and all the people that worked on this.
Thank you.
And our town departments also, who I know attended the meetings and lent their expertise.
I found that this was a great first topic for me being on the board. I actually was very excited to see it on there because working in people's houses, I see how, you know, you've integrated transportation in here, and I have so many patients that can't get to their doctor's appointments, can't get to their grocery store, can't get out to socialize. They're like, I can't go out for a walk because my wheelchair won't go over that curb, or that's in the way. And trying to find solutions to how can you get a patient down on the beach so that they can be, you know, continue to take value from our community, I think is great. And I really hope we can do that, because there's a lot of seniors that they're isolated and they're socially lonely, and we need to remember that they're here because they've done so much for us. So I'm really excited to see this plan. I know you've presented some of this to the RTM in the past, and I'm excited to support this. Thank you.
Just before I go, I wanted to mention the town does have beach wheelchairs.
Yes. Yeah.
I think 2 of them, right?
Yeah, 4.
4, excuse me. All right, thanks. Just wanted to throw that out there. All right, thank you.
And I think that, you know, it would be, you know, important for you, Christine, to, you know, we could start putting some of the items that are on the capital project plan that are directed toward our senior center and also senior programming. And to your point, Marcy, there are a lot of seniors, and loneliness, apparently, according to a recent study, is one of the biggest things that is a mortality issue for our elderly. And, you know, not everybody has the ability to stay with their parents. My mother lived with me for 21 years. She had family, you know, around her when she needed it, but not everybody has that. And we need, I think, I'd like to see us implement some of this stuff to be able to go out and provide those opportunities for socialization and taking people to the doctors and bringing them to socialize at the senior center if they can't drive there on their own. Because I think it's a moral obligation for us as a community.
So there you have it. We're putting the action plan into action.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to number 5, town librarian. This item was on a past agenda but was not moved forward. Information, so it's here with us today. To hear, consider, and act on a memorandum of understanding between the Fairfield Public Library and the Center for Social Impact on behalf of Fairfield University to facilitate a community-based participatory research project for the 2025 Fairfield Public Library Needs Assessment for the period of June 1st, 2025 through January 15th, 2026, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign any documents in furtherance of said agreement. I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
The edits that were redlined that were provided to you last meeting have been approved by the Provost's office at Fairfield U. So the agreement is as it was presented last month. We're really excited to get this going. This will be our first community needs assessment probably in 4 or 5 years. And this will help inform our next strategic plan.
I can't remember, Scott, is there a cost associated with it?
Yes, but the trustees will be covering that.
Oh, they will.
It's not out of the town budget.
Thank you. That's all. Okay, I see.
I know what question you're gonna ask.
I know.
I'll make sure I have that answer.
You know that.
What type of publications do you foresee this research being?
It's really primarily just for our strategic plan and internally, but often libraries share their results with other libraries. It's really helpful for all the libraries in the community. There's a great economic development study at Darien, which ties the library, and I think I've shared that. I've shared it with the board. But so every once in a while, what we find out, we actually share out with other libraries in the state.
Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Number 6, Assistant DPW Director, we have Mr. Cattell with us. To hear, consider, and act on a letter of intent between Vineyard Sky Farms Corp. and the Town of Fairfield for potential solar power purchase agreement, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign any documents in furtherance of said letter of intent. Is that a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Cup, second. Still kind of, it's not used to being here, it's just the two of us.
Second motion.
Mr. Cattell.
This is our town's second virtual net metering project. This one is actually physically built in East Haven, and it's a very simple, straightforward deal for the town. Every kilowatt hour that they produce, it offsets, we kind of gets a 2 cent per kilowatt hour credit on our UI bill to whatever count that we so desire. Big picture on this, it's a 20-year contract, and over the 20 years, we're expected to make $1.4 million. So it's approximately $70,000 each year. We have really no downside on this. If they don't produce power, we don't pay anything. It's a credit to us. This, unlike the first one where we get a credit from UI and we pay the solar producer, and the first one is located up in, I think, Woodbridge. This is just strictly no payments from us. It's just strictly credit from UI, so it's even less paperwork. The letter of intent that you have before you that was sent out in the backup information had a typo in it, and a very important typo that I had corrected. We get a $100,000 upfront, $50,000 when we sign this, $50,000 when it's actually in operation. The letter of intent that you had, if you look at it very closely, states that we are paying them $100,000. So I had that corrected, and the letter that will be signed by the first selectman when approved, it will be the corrected version of the provider paying the town of Fairfield this upfront money. That's located on the second page, about the fourth line down, if you look at that. And with that, I'll take on any questions.
Any questions?
Mr. Cattell?
Hello.
Or how many other towns are involved in agreements like this?
I don't know of many of them. I think they had one that was built up in Ansonia with a virtual net metering project that some other town took. I'm not sure who it was. The town of Ansonia was originally supposed to take it, and they backed out of it because they couldn't get it together. I'm not very familiar with any of the other local towns that were near us. The issue on this one, Stratford was looking to actually take this deal. This deal was signed. We had a letter of intent about 2-3 years ago, probably 3 years ago. The letter of intent allowed either the town or the developer to back out if they wanted to. That deal, which was basically this same project, would have gave us 4 cents a kilowatt hour versus the 2 cents. The developer was seeing now that your environment of solar support and federal subsidies that support the solar has kind of dwindled away. These projects don't seem to be coming in the near future. It's not expected. So I think the developer felt that I could get a better deal. He was kind of courting the town of Stratford for it, but we initially had this intent for it, so we had first dibs to say, yes, we'll still take the deal, even though it's not as good as the first one. It's still $1.4 million in our pocket over 20 years, so we're not really having to do anything.
Why wouldn't East Haven answer is being built?
A lot of these towns, the governments just can't get it together, or they don't understand it. It's like basically free money, if you want to look at it that way.
Right. Thank you.
We don't expect any of this to change with any governmental changes.
No, once this thing is up and running, this is what's been signed for the contractual issues. I don't expect any future developments like this coming along,
This won't stop anything.
but this, right, it's already built.
Any public comment on this? Should we?
I can give you the corrected one, so you have it. I did send it to Jennifer, so the one that you do sign will be the corrected version. I apologize for not making 3 copies. I'll do that better next time. This is the corrected one. If you look on the back of the first page, 4th line down, where it states provider pays the town of Fairfield.
Oh, instead of Fairfield?
So that'll be the one that you sign.
Can I just make a motion just to amend the language in the posted backup to correct it to read made by provider? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Back to the main motion as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
See you, Frank. Congratulations.
Right.
All right. Number 7, Acting Fire Chief. To hear, consider, and act on approving a facility license agreement between the town of Fairfield acting by and through the Fairfield Fire Department and WW North America Holdings, LLC, to rent room 112 at the Fairfield Regional Fire School, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign any documents in furtherance of said agreement. Hello, Chief Tuck.
Hi, hello, and welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. So what this is about is, as you probably remember, in 2017, the state built us a fire training center on our old site, which was the Nike missile site, and Quonset hut, and really a mess, but they gave us a state-of-the-art facility. But at the time, the administration of the town said it has to be a self-supporting organization. So we have to, we have a budget, we have to stay within it, and we try to make money on courses that we give. There's certain courses, we get some funding from the state to run certain courses, but it's not enough. So we have utilities to pay for. We had a small electric bill before this, but now they built a state-of-the-art facility with heat and air conditioning. We have to pay our insurance and things like that, liability insurance costs and things like that. So we try to make margins on all the programs that we run. So we were approached by this group, and it's kind of a light lift as far as it sticks with our mission. Our mission is training for the public and for the public sector also. So, this is something that's not inconsistent. It's after hours, so the facility, we can still, we're not in the way of our regular programs to firefighters and public safety people and the public school nurse, the public health nurses and all the different people that we give training courses to down there. So, we just ask if you would consider this, and hopefully it'll work out very well.
Questions?
Do you have to employ a staff member to be there that wouldn't normally be there?
Well, we will either have to have somebody stay by, or sometimes with some groups we have trusted users, especially if it's a town department, we'll have the recording secretary be the trusted user. In this case, we're going to make sure that we will be able to pay for that person under this, so the town will not, suffer. So
You won't be making the full amount that you
right,
get per session.
we're never going to make
you-
it full, but we'll have a net. So we'll be positive. We will be in the black with this. Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nike site.
Right? Wasn't it a Nike missile site? I think back in the
My father
day.
actually served in the Army at that
Yeah.
site. And over.
But it's a beautiful facility. If any of you haven't been there, please come and visit because it's impressive. And every day, our people are going down training there, which is great. A lot of other departments have to come here and they have to send people out of town. It's difficult. Here we can just go down. Even if an officer says, "I want to teach my crew, I want to cut up a car today because I've got a willing bunch of new people," or something like that, they'll get permission. They go down there, and it's really a win-win for this town.
I want to say for the record, Chris Tracy,
Chris Tracy did the yeoman's work. Yes.
extraordinary amount of lobbying. That was his thing. And he was in Hartford lobbying all of us when I was a legislator, and he was like a dog with a bone
He was.
on that center, and he deserves a huge amount of credit for its existence.
And he put us in line because other state schools, there's some other regional fire schools around the state, and I think we were one of the last ones to get funding, and the rest of them are going, what about us? But, we do have, I think, out of everybody, I think we have more programs than any other state regional fire facility that go on. Our visitors, that's why we make everybody sign a log. So we do keep track of, the traffic there. It's phenomenal.
It was very political in Hartford, the way those were sort of funded.
yeah.
And
Yes, it was.
And Chris had a real knack for making relationships with
He
the
did.
other
He was
legislators
like-
outside of our
We
district.
called him the senator.
He was good. He was good.
Excellent.
I give him a lot of credit.
We thank him for his efforts and because the facility is truly amazing and such a resource for not only our community but our neighbors. Any other questions?
Turn off your 3:55 PM alarm.
Any public comment? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Number 8. Acting fire chiefs, to hear, consider, and act on approving an agreement between Fire Tech and Safety of New England, Inc. and the town of Fairfield acting by and through the Fairfield Fire Department for personal protective equipment, PPE, for the Fairfield Fire Department, and further authorizing the first selectman to sign any documents in furtherance of said agreement.
So moved.
Second?
A second.
So what this happens to be is that OSHA came in a unscheduled visit. It's called a surprise visit. And we were very well prepared because we had been preparing for an eventual OSHA visit. And over the past couple of years, especially retired Assistant Chief Skylar Sherwood did a lot of work on our respiratory protection program and some of the key things that they look for. We've been doing a lot of upgrades. OSHA did come in and they found some, some issues. A lot of them, they cited us for it, but what we did is we were able to abate those summonses or, those citations by just showing, okay, we've improved this and improved that. A couple little training things that we just had to clean up a little bit. But one thing that was a larger scale issue was that there's been a change in law. OSHA's decided to embrace an NFPA standard on PPE, personal protective equipment, For years, we know that OSHA has been looking at our turnout gear, like our coats, the coats we wear and the pants we wear into fires. But now there's increased scrutiny in things like gloves, the hoods that we put over, that we wear into fires, and the boots that go on to, that gear, but also our helmets. And, it's a tough thing because they're saying that any of those pieces of equipment that are over 10 years old have to be removed from service. Now, usually with gloves and hoods and things like that, they don't last 10 years, so we're replacing them. But we never really documented that because most departments didn't, because those things never had, VIN number. They didn't have numbers associated with them. Gloves don't really have that much on them, and everything fades after a while. So we do need some more gloves and things like that. But also a difficult thing was that they said that helmets, they don't want to see them being over 10 years old. That was kind of a surprise to us. When I came up here from Yonkers, I had a helmet that I got when I got promoted to chief in 1999, a white helmet. And I said, well, I'm not going to make Fairfield, buy me a helmet. This thing is going to be here until the meteorite hits the earth. It's still, it'll still be usable. So, so I've got this helmet, and I'm going to have to get rid of it, and I have to get a new helmet. So, and so does everybody else with helmets that are over 10 years old. So, so what we did is we went to the Board of Finance 2 nights ago, and they took monies left over from last year's budget. They rolled it into this year, and we put in a rec from a quote. Purchasing is agreed that the state contract is does cover this gear, and is appropriate, so we're not going to have any problem in the purchasing aspect of this. And so we just ask you to give it your okay, just in case there's anything that needs to be signed.
So what do they say about the helmets?
They said because if they're over 10 years, or just if they're over 10 years old, they have to be replaced. You have to buy a new one to replace it.
Why?
Oh, well,
Is there a change in that?
Yeah, so the NFPA has a committee on PPE, protective gear, and on those committees, there's firefighters, engineers, also manufacturers reps. So
Exactly, I know
so what happens is they go in there and they say, well, you can't trust it, maybe, and some helmets are leather, so maybe that degrades after a while. But my Kevlar helmet, it's plastic, and it's hard plastic, so it is one of these laws where we're always erring on the side of caution for safety. So we're not going to fight that, but it's something new that we weren't expecting. So I just kind of want to put it.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask because I know that OSHA can. And as you point out, manufacturers are on it.
Right.
But like your uniforms, obviously, because of all the stuff.
Yes, and fabric can
and the
sometimes degrade and
chemicals
things like that, and
that are
chemicals,
emitted.
and we wash them too. So sometimes that kind of gets they'll degrade the fabric. So we're erring on the side of caution. I think OSHA is erring on the side of caution, and OSHA was very, very good with us. We worked with them, and they are excellent to work with, and they also told us that they were impressed by how we were prepared under for most of our procedures and everything. So there's good news and bad news. So bad news is that we do have to buy some more gear, but this will continue to protect us.
How much is the amount that the Board of Finance is transferring?
It's $118,972.
And that's to outfit everybody?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's not bad, actually.
It's not bad. Yes.
A couple questions. So she said it's everybody on the force that's outfitting. So 10 years from now, we'll have to do the same? Or
Yes.
are you going to keep logs? Is there possibly that someone came from another town, brought their helmet, and it was only 3
Right.
years, so you're not
Yes,
replacing
so
it?
we have a relatively new records management program, and so in that, what we've been doing is we've been taking all the information that we had from Excel data sheets. We've been importing it in. But the great thing about this program is it has an expiration date. And what happens, so if you put in that you buy something on this date, you'll put in the expiration date 10 years from now. What we have is now reports coming back telling us when things are due. So, that'll come back 10 years from now after we get those pieces of equipment. But other things that we have, the turnout coat that I wear, that was bought maybe 3 years ago. So, that one is in there already with a date that's 10 years from 3 years ago. So, we're getting better and better at our record keeping. There's just so much information, out there, and so much data, but this is going to help, put it in our faces. We have things for hose too. Hose have, expire after so many years, and all the other things we have too. So, but we're
That'll help
getting
with
aggressive.
both safety and the budget.
Safety and the budget, yes, so that things don't all come at the same time.
And then who checks, like, I know, because I've worked as therapists, I've worked for companies that have OSHA come in and do our OSHA surveys, and we were responsible for like having our equipment checked like yearly by
Yes.
an organization oftentimes. So I have to bring it and have it like certified. Is that something that you have your employees do and bring them in?
Right, well, so we do a lot of that. Say, for example, for hose. Hose has, that OSHA requirements that it has to be tested annually under pressure. So what we do is each year, since forever, we've been bringing in a company that specializes in that. Our people come help them bring the fire engine down, lay out the hose, they put it under a pressure test, and then we get the documents, and then we hold the documents. We do that for our ladder testing, for our ground ladders, for our aerial ladders. And things like this we have now built into that records management system. Every day, people have to say that they're SCBA, their air gear, the compressed air cylinder, that's been checked and tested, and the bottle is, hydrostatically tested. So, we have all that in the system now, so that they have to check. They have to check out their gear also every month, I believe. So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any members of the public? Okay, back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our engineering manager, Mr. Hurley, is here. This requires BOS approval for revised agreement language, having already obtained BOS, BOF, and RTIM approvals as of December 16th, 2024 for the original grant agreement. Whereas the town of Fairfield has been awarded a Safe Street for All grant in the total amount of $350,000 by the United States federal government as part of the Federal Highway Administration, FHWA, and whereas the grant requires funds from the town in the amount of $87,500 funding and in-kind services for the creation of a safety action plan. And now therefore be it resolved, the first selectman be and hereby is authorized to accept, appropriate, and expend said grant and execute any and all required documents to effectuate said grant. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Hi. Although the first selectman has already signed the agreement and the contract with the FHWA regarding this grant, there was amendment to the agreement, and so to make it a clean contract, so to speak, we're here to present the amended contract. Phil Pierce has taken a look at it. Ironically, even right now, it doesn't apply to us per se, but we wanted to, for full disclosure, because it was a revised agreement that we'll be having the first selectman sign, we wanted to present it to the Board of Selectmen. I don't fully understand it. It has some term with basically immigration, but it says that if there's already a party for a preliminary injunction, then you don't have to worry about it. And so Connecticut right now doesn't have to worry about it. They're not going to enforce it at this moment, but they wanted that language in there. So hopefully should have been in the backup for that. If not, I have a copy here I could read if one needs me to read it.
What page of the backup are you suggesting this language?
Well, it was, I had it here in an email that I sent it in. This was the language right here. And I'm not even sure if it was needed, but we wanted to make it, full disclosure that it should have been in the packet. Basically, we have to agree to the
Page 7, 6.5.
Thanks, Christine. We were, quote, awarded this grant about a year and a half, and it takes a
Phil?
long time. Sure.
You read this, right?
Phil,
6.5? What does it mean?
Do you want the,
I have it.
I didn't
So-
want to do legal terms.
I mean, I did express some concerns about this because I'm not sure what we're binding us to in terms of the obligations they're expecting of the town if the injunction were to be lifted. As a practical matter, there's an injunction in effect now, so there are no restrictions in effect. So any of our obligations under this language is suspended due to the injunction. So I'm honestly not sure how this would be used in the future.
Yeah, it doesn't make- I mean-
If the injunction's lifted, at the same time, if the town doesn't accept the contract term, we don't get the money.
Right, it's just a strange language,
I know, it's kind of.
I don't know
would
how
agree.
immigration has anything to do with the road.
It's unusual, but this is, a condition that has been imposed on recipients of grants, so. So to answer your question, I don't really know how would be interpreted if the injunction's lifted.
It's just a little odd, and
We all agree.
Yeah, we're,
all right.
I couldn't, fully understand it. But, so that's what we wanted to,
Yeah.
'cause, the first selectman had the authorization to sign any revised or amendments, but we wanted to at least make the board of selectmen aware of that. So, the other would be also, just to also give you a quick little update, is for this grant, we have selected a consultant. And so at the next Board of Selectmen meeting, we should have a contract with them, proposed contract that we will present to the board. And we can then give them the notice to proceed on this grant work. It's basically to study major areas in town and prioritize them for safe streets.
Didn't we do a priority a while back?
Internally, we had a priority, but this would be a consultant, it'd be a whole study.
And how much is that?
The grant is $350,000, and the town amount or share is $87,500. But that also can include in-kind services, so the amount of time that we spend on it is deducted, and then whatever's left, we would have to take it out of an account that has already been established. As I said, we were awarded this, and this was presented.
you probably remember because we voted on it already.
Yeah.
I do.
A long time ago, I'll just say
That's
that.
why. It's the same thing.
So does our TM.
Right, as well.
And they're within the grant allotment, that was the key thing too, so.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'll hang around if I'm
Any
needed for the
questions?
next one.
Any members of the public want to give comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Okay, number 10, purchasing authority. We have Mr. Tulin and Mr. Hurley for this. To hear, consider and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into an agreement between the town of Fairfield and AKRF Inc. of Stamford, Connecticut, to provide design services and else necessary for traffic signal design, Mill Plain Road at Ludlow Road as detailed in Town of Fairfield RFP number 2023-33R, on-call transportation services, and the AKRF submission dated March 14th, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $110,660 with an additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for the project. Ms. Follier, second? Ms. Kupchak, seconds. Who wants to go? Mr.
We usually have Adam start
Okay,
off
Adam.
with the contract, and then I'm here to answer any questions that might pop up.
All right, thank you for having me. Adam Tulin, Director of Purchasing. I'm getting a little feedback. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay. So AKRF is our previously awarded vendor. We put, as the resolution says, we awarded this contract back in fiscal year 2023 for on-call transportation design services. So Mr. Hurley has been working with them to prepare this scope of work. So we're just looking for your okay to proceed with this. There's an agreement for this specific project, but it's in line with the RFP that they were awarded for these services. So I don't have a whole lot to add to this beyond what's already in the resolution.
I can just add that we're in year 2 of our long-range traffic signal replacements, and this contract is for the design services for a new signal at Mill Plain Road, Ludlow, and the RecPlex. So we'll be replacing the signal. AKRF has just about wrapped up the Sacred Heart University signal there at the main driveway. They were the consultant that did that. And so, as I said, part of our plan, which I believe there's at least a 3-year approval already in the hopper with the Board of Finance. So we're just marching along, and this is the next step to have them get on board and start the design.
Any questions?
This is part of the ARPA money, right, that we put toward the traffic?
Well, that was,
To figure
and now,
out
and
which
then the
lights.
next step is, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, mhm. Next step is bonded money that's for the 3 to 5 year plan.
Where's the one, is this just not at Park and Rec, where's the other one?
No, this is.
Just that one?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's for the design of that signal.
You've been happy with this company for the work they've done?
Yes.
at Sacred Heart?
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the traffic signals are getting up to about $750,000 or even more, but they can do a lot more too. And some of the design services would make sure we have a camera, and it's kind of related to the control center that we've started to establish at engineering.
Right. And for the timing and the backing
Right,
up of the
exactly,
traffic,
yep.
because that's a bad one.
So when the signal goes down, we'll be alerted a message saying that there's an issue or a problem. In a perfect world, we'll be able to just do it at our desk and revise it. If it requires a contractor, we'll have a contractor on call, and then they'll be able to go out and do it, hopefully within, 24 hours.
Any members of the public would like to give comment on this? Seeing none, back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Bill? Thank you. Purchasing Authority. Adam Tulin and Mark Barnhart are going to present. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into a master agreement between the Town of Fairfield and Environmental Services, Inc. of Southport, Connecticut to provide labor, materials, equipment, and else necessary for the demolition project at 385 and 409 Quincy Street as detailed in the Town of Fairfield bid 2026-08 and the environmental services submission dated August 29th, 2025 for a lump sum in the amount not to exceed $49,200 with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Kupchak, can I have a second?
Yeah, I'm happy to present this, but I think you skipped over
I
number
was just,
11.
that's what I was confused about. I think
Oh,
you
I'm
skipped
sorry.
11 and went to 12.
Okay.
Stump
The
grinding.
stump
I'm
grinding,
sorry.
yeah.
Up to you, since you read it, I'll happily.
Well, we seconded it. so-
All right. I'll take it. Sorry, Mr. Carney.
So, as the board, as Mark Barnhart, Director of Community Economic Development, as the board knows, we've entered into a partnership with Habitat of Humanity for Humanity of Coastal Fairfield County to redevelop a couple lots within the Parkview Commons development in furtherance of that objective. We solicited bids to demo the existing structures that are there. This would be fully funded out of the Community Development Block Grant Program. It is an eligible project for clearance and demolition and furtherance of affordable housing development. So we're recommending it to you. We did put it out to bid through the good offices of the purchasing agent and his department. We received a lot of bids. They're not as low as I would have liked, but the low bid is submitted by Environmental Services. It's of South Windsor, by the way. There is a typo in the motion, but it is a company out of South Windsor that submitted the lowest responsible bid of $49,200. And I'm happy to answer any questions or add them as well.
Questions?
It's two.
It's two units, two of the units.
How many are you putting in?
We will be replacing each single-family home with a fully elevated duplex. As you know, this is in a flood zone. The buildings themselves haven't flooded in the past, but the area around it has. And so it's required to elevate the structures, which will actually reduce the cost for the homeowner and make this more sustainable. So it's not only to preserve what's already there, but also to modestly expand the affordable homeownership opportunity. So we're going to be a 2-for-1 replacement, an elevated duplex there.
Yeah, we talked about
We've talked about this. We're excited. We're excited.
You've heard about this many
Talked about
times.
my administration working on it.
in our
We're-
town, too.
we're all-
Very exciting
We're
to
excited. It's
see us
exciting.
expanding with Habitat. It's just it's such a great program.
Yeah.
Really is, just, I can't say enough good things about how great this is going to be.
Yeah, and it's nice
We're
to have
looking
it
forward to
across
doing more
town.
work. As you know, we just CO'd the 4 units over in Greenfield Street. With your permission, we took down the building next door at 254. So after we're done with these units on Quincy Street, we intend to go back to Greenfield Street and build a few more duplexes over there as well. So thank you for your support.
Any questions on this?
Best thing ever.
Any public comment? Seeing none, back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, hold on.
Not about the item.
Do you want
South
to
Windsor.
amend that? I mean, it's very clear in the bid documents, but I did want to call it out to you. If you wanted to amend the motion to reflect that South Windsor as opposed to
Even
Southport.
though we voted, can we rescind our vote? No?
You voted already?
We voted.
Rescind it. It's fine.
We're going to rescind the vote. Can I, motion to rescind the vote?
Second.
Ms. Lawler, second by Ms. Kupchak. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion rescinded.
And
Back to the motion. Want to make an amendment?
then make an amendment to replace Southport with
South Windsor.
South Windsor.
Sorry.
And second? Ms. Bollier? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, back to the main motion as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Other
Have
question?
the families moved in yet? Where did they get their COs?
We have the COs. They haven't closed yet. We expect the closing within the next 30 days. Yep. So we have all the as you know, we have the homeowners picked out. They've identified, and we had the celebration. So we're just ready to sign the documents now.
Will you let me know?
Absolutely.
I want to go over and bring them something.
That'd be great.
So-
That'd be
they're
great.
so
Terrific.
nice.
Thank you
So,
very
so
much for
nice.
They're
your
so
help.
happy.
I know, they were so happy.
Thanks for taking me out of order.
Sorry, it was not intentional, I'm just, Okay, going backwards to number 11, purchasing authority. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into a master agreement between the town of Fairfield and Nutmeg Stump Grinding LLC of Naugatuck, Connecticut, to provide labor, materials, equipment, and else necessary for stump removal throughout town as detailed in the town of Fairfield bid 2026-07 and the Nutmeg Stump Grinding submission dated August 21st, 2025 for an initial phase term through June 30th, 2026 with up to 4 additional optional 1-year renewals. Kind of motion?
So moved.
Ms. Kupchak, seconded by Ms. Ballmer. Okay, Ms. Mr. Tulin, do you want to talk us through this?
Yes, so, geez, that's rough on my end, sorry. The first thing I'd like to say is this is in line with the model we've been trying to move towards of developing more master service agreements for on-call services to give us a little bit more flexibility as projects come up to be able to proceed with vetted, publicly procured contractors. I'm happy that we can add another one to that list. I'll also just add quickly, this item and item 12 are a couple of our very first bids that will have gone through our new e-bidding platform. So while I'm a little bit disappointed to hear Mr. Barnhart wasn't fully excited about the prices, I was really happy to see the kind of responses we've been getting so far in terms of numbers anyway, quantity of bidders. So it's an exciting step forward for us, and I feel like these couple of items are a good indicator of where that's hopefully going to continue going. So in terms of this specific item, we just have a basic sort of service agreement, master service agreement that's in line with what we've been doing. Attorney Pierce has reviewed. So we just ask you to allow us to enter into the agreement.
And Mr. Carney, are you on the line also for any questions about the project itself, but take questions from Mr. Tulin?
So, Adam, all these different bids, so we're 1.8 million. What is this? Or is 1,800? I'm sorry, I can't see well. In yours?
It's 1,800.
This is if we need Stump's ground that are on town property? Is that what this is?
Yes, it's unit pricing on an as-needed basis.
Right, because my thought, recollection was that we didn't really engage in that, only sparingly. Is this like all stumps are going to be ground down, or are we just doing specific ones?
If Mr. Carney's on the call, I'd appreciate his input, but my expectation is that this shouldn't be necessarily a large annual expenditure. It was just to stay in line with the, that model that we've been starting to move towards of, getting on-call services under these sort of locked-in agreements.
Yeah, we just had our stump grinder go down for a month and a half due to a fuel pump issue. So this is just so that we don't get a backlog of a ton of stumps that we can call if we need these guys to come in and get a bunch of stuff for us so that we can try to catch up on things.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Any questions? Any public comment on this item? Back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Okay, number 13. We have Mr. Tulin again and Chief of Community Services, Anthony Calabrese, with us for this item. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into an agreement between the Town of Fairfield and RecTrack LLC, doing business as Vermont Systems, to provide pay-track payment services as detailed in the RecTrack submission dated March 28, 2025. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Kupchak, follow your seconds. Mr. Tulin, you want to go first?
Yeah, just briefly, before I kick it over to Mr. Calabrese, I'll just say this is essentially an add-on service to our existing agreement with Vermont Systems. So, the purchasing policy is satisfied in that regard. I basically just sort of assisted in getting this contract documentation. He can speak much more eloquently to how this will impact his department.
Eloquently, no pressure there.
Thank you, Adam. I don't know about eloquent, but this is our credit card processor. We use RecTrack, and it's I don't want to say it's proprietary, but we're kind of forced to use them. So really a formality, I would say, Adam, that we're here, more or less. But yeah, this is our current registration software.
Any questions? Any questions from the public? Public comment? Seeing none, back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
Thank you.
carries 3-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Should have did that one from your office, Anthony.
But now I have traffic authority upstairs. I think.
Oh, all right.
Fun times there, buddy.
All right, number 14, Board of Selectmen, to hear, consider, and act on scheduling a special election for the office of First Selectman of the town of Fairfield. So a petition was successful to call for, let's start back, my head is not with me today. The town clerk, there was a petition for a special election to fill the office of First Selectman. The town clerk called for a special election. It is now up to the Board of Selectmen to set the date for that special election. There is backup, there is information in the backup about the timing of this. It is guided through state statute. The town clerk and our town attorney has reached out to the Secretary of State for guidance on this and setting the date. We have Attorney Pierce here. I don't know if you would like to present any additional information on this, Bill?
So the town clerk and I had reached out to Secretary of State for guidance on the dates for the special election. And the guidance we received is that there's an initial notice period. We have the period for endorsements to be made for parties, and then there's the period for primaries. The initial guidance from the Secretary of State to the town clerk indicated that based on the timing of the vacancy, we did not have to allow time for primaries, but the email exchange is all attached to my letter. You can see that they reversed that and said that that was an error. It is applicable to this. That statute that they reference is not applicable to this election. If you read the statute, it only applies to certain types of elections like probate judges, federal, U.S. senators, congressmen, that sort of thing. So it's not applicable to the office of First Selectman. So what that means, and then the statute also imposes a limitation on how far out you can go. It's got to be 150 days. So the result is there's actually a very narrow window within which you can set the date. If you want to have it on a Tuesday, your choice is really, I believe it's January 27th and February 3rd are the Tuesdays, if you want to have it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, the timeframe is Monday, January 26, 2026, and Friday, February 6, 2026. That is the window that this board can set the election date.
And the process starts with the town clerk issuing that notice of the date and the warning to the major and minor parties in town and the Secretary of State. And you know, I anticipated in the letter that would be issued on Monday, and that's how I calculated the timeline because the town clerk is at a conference.
Okay.
But even if it was issued tomorrow, that's a Sunday, right? The 25th is a Sunday, so. Happy to answer questions.
Any questions for Attorney Pierce?
No, I mean, what do you mean when you're saying we have to wait for the town clerk to get back from a conference?
Well,
Couldn't anybody in that office do that? Or it has to be her specifically?
I think the assistant town clerk could issue it. The thing is that you're
doesn't matter.
gonna gain a day or two by doing that. So that's why I presumed that it'd be issued on Monday when she's back.
Gotcha.
That's how I calculated the timeline for, and then for the period, the January 26th to February 6th deadline. And then once you set the date and she notifies Secretary of State, the Secretary of State produces the official timeline to give the town the deadlines on this is when endorsements are due, this is the date of the primary or when the primary has to be scheduled by, so that'll be the official timeline at that point. But at the same time, we didn't want to pick a date that they would say is not compliant with law, which is why we conferred with them.
Understood. I mean, I'll just throw out that, just based on this information, the town attorney provided, in my opinion, I would go with the last Tuesday available. That gives the public and the candidates, time to share their viewpoints, to get their message out, to have, whatever debates would happen. I feel that might be the best. just in the way of timeline. People get that time as it's not like rushed. And I personally think it should be held on a Tuesday because people associate Tuesdays with election days.
Yep.
Although February is not a normal election, but that's just my thoughts, my initial thoughts.
I was looking at the calendar for that 2-week period to see, because we might have to pull them out of school, kids out of school that day, and there's no conference days surrounding that. There's a bunch of half days, but not full days, so I don't think that they're, like, usually they use that as a teacher conference day or something, so then in my head, I'm thinking, can we make it a Saturday? I know Tuesday's typical, but then I'm like, usually then you have like Jewish holidays of respect. So I don't know that that's possible. So I agree, probably a Tuesday is probably the best, because there's luckily it's not during February break for our students or any of those holidays, because then families would be away and we want the most voter turnout that we can get.
Break? When do the kids go?
The break is like the 13th of February, so it's after the fact. Yeah.
And are there any significant holidays that?
Then I didn't see any significant holidays during those times, or anything that I was aware of for that. And I didn't see any nearby conference periods that were within like a month or so that they could switch reasonably. So I don't know what that means for our schools, if we have them. There's a few half days, but I don't know how those work.
And I called the superintendent this morning just to see if there was any way we could just align it, so, and it really doesn't. He says it doesn't make a difference. Kids.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but that was a good thought process.
Just to see, make sure I wasn't missing anything. I'm gonna leave it up to you too, because at this point in time, I am running in this race.
Are you abstaining from the vote? Okay, that makes sense. Get it. That's actually commendable.
Now that we have a fully, now that I can actually potentially abstain from a vote and it's still moving forward.
So Brenda, you're thinking the first Tuesday in February, the last Tuesday?
The last Tuesday available, because town attorney said the 6th was the last official day we can, based on everything. And if you're saying there isn't a day off, there isn't a half day, there isn't a holiday we could put it on, or, I mean, I don't know. It's one half dozen or other.
Yeah, I don't think a week matters either here or there, you know.
Giving people that extra bit of time, both candidates, and to make their cases to the voters. Trust me, I've been there many times.
Hopefully not last week.
That last little bit of extra time to make phone calls and get your message out.
And it has to be at the same polling locations that we currently have, or?
Imagine.
I would, for this.
I think it would make sense that they would be, which is, obviously, it's unfortunate the schools have to be closed for it. Although the kids won't say that. They'll be so happy.
They might extend their year by.
They'll be like, yay! I don't know, how do you feel about the 3rd? Is the 3rd
Yeah. Sounds
Tuesday?
not like we have many options.
It's not snow days for elections. I'm thinking, what if it snows if we do?
Well, I was thinking that too, but I don't know what would happen.
Yeah,
when there's snow.
It's a good, I don't know.
All right, so.
I mean, it snowed in October before, so.
That's true.
So what day is that? Tuesday, February 3rd? February 3rd?
Because on the handout that town attorney gave us, it said we have up to the 6th.
Okay. So if that Tuesday's February 3rd, do you want me to make a motion to make the special election for February 3rd? I'll make the motion for the special election for February 3rd.
Can I have a second for that?
So moved. Second. And
Any additional discussion on the 3rd? Okay. Any public comment on setting the date of the special election to fill the office of first selectman for February 3rd, 2026? Seeing none, back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstentions? Motion carries 201. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, refunds. To consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $47,595.50.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments? Any public comment on this? Back to the board for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Okay, First Selectman, to hear updates from the First Selectman. So the United Illuminating Transmission Lines project, for those just following along, there was a straw poll vote back in June. It looked like UI was going to deny construction of the monopoles along the southern route. A couple weeks ago, they voted again. It seemed like they were going to reverse that straw poll vote and move that project forward. There's been a lot of advocacy over the last 2 weeks. The Siting Council met again today and voted to table taking action on this item until October 16th. Want to just thank the many residents who have reached out to the governor and the Siting Council via email, grassroots organizations who have just been holding press conferences, leading advocacy leading advocacy within the public through social media. There were actually three press conferences held over the last couple of weeks. Senator Wong hosted one at Pequot Library. A group, Empowering Fairfield, held a press conference up in Hartford that 2 buses went through. We went up there on Monday. At that time, the governor came out and shared that he was going to request that the Siting Council delay their vote, just table the motion. He has no authority on the Siting Council. They are a totally independent regulatory agency, but he just wanted to take a stance on that, so I thank him for that. And we are now at the position where the expectation is that we're going to try to meet with UI again to discuss other options, whether or not the town has been advocating for the lines to be buried from start to finish. We've been working in concert with Bridgeport on that. There has been the price tag on burying those lines. Right now, UI is estimating 800 million. Is that the current estimate, Ms. Brown? For burying the lines, I think that we got.
Unless they revised it down from $1 billion.
So that is a high price tag. There are other communities that are doing it for far less. We requested that UI come back with just more information on the actual cost. Their ask of the town is just to share hotspots in our community where undergrounding is, we want it everywhere, but there might be some areas of town that if they go on the north side of the tracks, there's no taking of private property or no small business impact. South side of the tracks, there might be areas that it might work. We don't have a town engineer, I think, that has the bandwidth right now to develop a transmission line. We're hoping that UI will come to us with a plan, an alternate plan to what's being proposed. But that's where we are to try to come to some sort of an agreement for a plan that works, whether or not, at one point there was a plan for the northern side of the tracks that failed because UI did not follow the proper process and the public wasn't given due notice to weigh in as interveners. But that's where we are right now. So we're going to continue just to push out information. We have about a month to continue to advocate, to engage the community, and hopefully get some more information from UI.
Well, I mean, this has been going on obviously for a long time. Yeah. And in the summer of '23, obviously it was heating up, or a little even before that, when UI finally disclosed that they were not going to be allowed to stay on DOT property. And they were gonna have to move off DOT properties when this, I'm not gonna say the word, started to hit the fan. I had a meeting with the president to set up having a meeting, to really get around a table and talk about what you're just saying, right? What's the what's the least impactful piece of this? Where can we compromise? Where can we work together on it? Obviously, I didn't get a chance to finish that conversation. I personally think that there's been, and I agree, it's advocacy is great, and, rallies are great, but I think we're at the point now where, as a leader of the town, and I appreciate the governor intervening on the vote, to just have them in and have a frank conversation. Now, the north side, they were rejected because they didn't follow the same process they had followed on the south side, due process, letting everyone know about it, having people have the opportunity to air their opinions. So that was dead all day long because they didn't follow it right, which was dumb actually, but I don't really know. I mean, I think you sitting down with them, and obviously your engineers and stuff, and just looking at the maps that were there and say, okay, maybe the north, I don't know, is the north side better? Are there areas, part of the north side, where they can, come to the plate and bury some sections where they would be the most egregious? Because in my opinion, the south side was much more egregious than the north side because of all the impact. I mean, so much impact. Where the north side has the impact, maybe have a conversation about, hey, this is going to impact whatever, this thing or this thing. So let's come together, and maybe they'd be willing to bury in those areas. I just feel like, whenever you're fighting, it's always a win or lose situation. There's a winner and there's a loser. And instead of coming together and saying, let's work together to try to make this so that UI's not the bad guy, town of Fairfield not the bad guy, because let's face it, we all need power. I mean, I lived through one of the worst storms this town ever had as the leader, when 90% of our electricity, Brenda Steele can talk about it, tree hit her house. I mean, I thought people were gonna literally take to the streets with torches, because it was horrible. It was burning hot. We had people on oxygen, people with diabetes medicine. It was just a disaster. So we obviously want our power, but we don't want our town to look like, hell. So, and people's property rights to be taken away. So I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of, consternation here. Maybe you can, I mean, he seemed like a very reasonable person when I met with him. And I invite the guy in to sit down and talk and say, hey, let's look at these maps and where are the most egregious areas, and would they be willing to bury in those areas?
Well, and I think that that's at the point, and Attorney Pierce can weigh in.
So we've had meetings with UI, and I mean, so far they've been completely unwilling to compromise.
With the president?
Yeah, the town has met with the president in the past, and so far to date, including as of last week, they've been completely unwilling to compromise. So
You didn't want to meet anymore after that? Or?
no, I think right now we're hopeful with the delay they will, and that this is really impactful, because as of last week they were just looking to wait for the siting council to approve this, and not willing to negotiate with the town. So this has given the opportunity for the potential for a negotiation, but it's only going to work if they are willing to come to the table and negotiate with the town. And so we're hopeful that'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, we all are. I hope you reach out to them and.
No, I mean, this is where we've been, there have been press conferences and rallies, but there has also been that behind the scenes communication with people that can hopefully help us move the needle. To Mr. Pierce, what that you always understandably so, it looked like the vote was going to go their way. They were not.
So they weren't.
They were not seemingly willing to come to the table.
Maybe now.
To good faith, which is why many people reached out to the governor directly. Residents, I thank them again for their emails. And our state representatives from both Bridgeport and Fairfield, that it was definitely a collaborative, bipartisan team effort. You know, to your point, though, about the storms, I think that just makes an argument, and many people for building that resiliency, burying the lines underground, arguably makes our electrical grid more resilient to future storms. So, but we're trying to be good faith partners. We appreciate that we've gotten the 30-day delay, trying to be cautiously optimistic.
Maybe reach out now to
But-
the governor's office if there's somebody in his staff or in state government that would have some expertise to sit in a meeting with you and with the president and his people, just to sort of look at it all and have a really like roll up your sleeves kind of meeting. You know, it's worth a shot.
No, I mean, we were hoping that we were able to do that last week. We had the copies of the maps all printed out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm struggling a little bit, want to help move the needle and be collaborative, because we all agree that we want power. We want to be power that's as cost effective as possible for ratepayers. But we also need to be sensitive to the long-term economic impact to our community.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we'll see, maybe they'll be more willing.
Well, I wish you good luck.
Yep, and you know what, I have a little bit of a problem sometimes thinking that the town is going to be responsible for hiring an engineer and doing this work when UI is a multi-million-dollar company whose owner is based in a foreign country, so it's kind of seems like putting this on the little guy doesn't seem 100% right to me, but willing to further the discussion. And as you both know, the town has amazing legal counsel that has been guiding us through this process, and we will continue to fight. And if it doesn't go our way, in a month when they vote, there are other avenues we will be proceeding with.
Well, maybe we can get it to go our way.
I mean, I
Don't
know,
give
and
up.
hey, this is a TAA.
Give it the college try.
Always willing to give the college try. All right, Pink Pledge kickoff, September 26th, 2025. The public is invited to the Pink Pledge kickoff on Friday, September 26th at 5:30 p.m. at Sherman Green. This annual event is sponsored by the Norma Freeman Breast Center, which is located here in Fairfield on Beach Road. The September 26th event kicks off a month of activities and events in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which takes place throughout October. Maybe we'll have to have a wear pink to a Board of Selectmen meeting in October Day. Yeah. Okay. Emergency management vehicle, there's been a lot of the Board of Finance, the internal audit. Ms. Axel did an internal audit looking at vehicle replacement for police, fire, and emergency management. That report was presented to the audit committee of the Board of Finance last week, and it came up in discussion this past Tuesday. Just wanted to report out that Mr. Becker is no longer the emergency management director. He resigned from that position last Monday. The vehicle was purchased as part of the police fleet as a replacement vehicle, although it was used for emergency management. The vehicle at this point has been returned to the police department. At first, I had the keys at Mr. Becker's resignation. I had the vehicle in my possession. It was parked out in Town Hall. Chief Dunn is now the emergency management director. I gave him the keys to that vehicle. He had the vehicle in his possession for, I don't know, a day. Didn't feel super comfortable. God forbid there was an emergency and the vehicle was down here and the keys were a mile or two away. The chiefs spoke together, the car was transferred, there was equipment in that vehicle that was more appropriate, to my understanding, to be with the fire department. They took the fire equipment, and the police car is, the emergency management vehicle is being used by the police. Police Commission also took a straw vote asking that the vehicle be returned to the police department. It ended up not happening like within a day or two, so it really, I don't think they had to take action on that at their next meeting because it's been transferred. Any questions about this vehicle?
Oh, I listen to the meetings, so.
I mean, obviously, you know, I listen to these meetings too, and I mean, it's not good. My concern is not just the vehicle. It's, all the things that led up to the vehicle, the misappropriation of money, the using of invoices, the hiding of invoices from CFOs, the lack of following policies and procedures. And then I watched the Board of Finance meeting Tuesday evening where you announced that there was a resignation. When I came into office in 19, we were obviously dealing with the public corruption scandal at the time, which was, not good. And we had the state's attorney crawling all over the place and looking at documents that they weren't given access to before. And when I had to do things based on information, I, handled it with the town attorney similar to a corporation would handle it. People's access to town records, invoices, anything were shut off completely, and then they were escorted out of the building. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. And I just hope that you're going to be following similar protocol with this, because it's a clear violation and misappropriation and abuse of power. And it shouldn't, it's not just the car, right? It's what happened and how the car was obtained. So I just want to say that for the record, and I know there's a lot of concern in the community about it, and I just want you as leader to make sure that you allay the concerns of our community and that they know that our town government is being managed in an appropriate way, and that anyone who has violated the rules and regulations of how our financial controls are in place and our policies.
This, as you both know, that Ms. Axel does an internal audit. These audits are not meant to vilify employees, that sometimes policies are not being followed, procedures are not being followed. It's not, in many instances, I'm not negating what has happened in the past in this town. There's not theft or something, let's just say, not following purchasing policies. I don't want to make it, and then I'm not speaking about in this instance, but just in audits in general, because in this case, one of the purchasing policy that was not followed was the pink voucher policy. There was another audit of the pink voucher policy, and it was shown that there was 59% non-compliance with the pink voucher policy. And this non-compliance went back, I think it might almost be decades. So happened during your administration by employees that were not corrupt, were not, part of a public scandal. It was just that the policy was not being followed correctly.
No, we found that too.
And I think that
with the credit card investigation,
I think that there's
people were
stuff like that. So
doing things that weren't appropriate.
When you realize that there's an audit and things are not being done correctly, the audit provides recommendations on how to make improvements to our town government. With this vehicle policy, that is where, thankfully, by the time I got it, we had already taken action on the pink voucher policy. For Selectman Gerber, it was a priority for him, so the work was already kind of in the works. When I came in July, the CFO shared that, and Ms. Axel shared that this issue with the pink vouchers, we talked about it in July, it kind of got finalized beginning of August and implemented in the beginning of August before the vehicle audit was put forward. So thankfully, one of the areas of concerns of how this happened was bypassed. Absolutely agree that the purchasing policy was not followed in the purchase of not only the emergency management vehicle, but some other vehicles, replacement vehicles, in terms of piggybacking on bids. using the pink voucher. And that's all going to be fixed because we are responsible for oversight of taxpayer money. We want to be accountable and transparent. And when we see a problem within the system, it's our responsibility to fix it. I'm not going to get, too much into personnel issues. I did share with the Board of Finance that Mr. Becker tendered his resignation. He, was hired by Mr. Gerber. Very often when a new administration comes in, there are staffing changes. Mr. Becker, I appreciate so much his, coming in the way that I did as acting first selectman with Bill being sick and then passing 2 weeks later, kind of stepped into this role on day one and shared before, really could not have hit the ground running without Mr. Becker's help and the help of every department head in this town. Different management styles, approaches. I think that Mr. Becker was looking to explore other options as well. And this time just came when he offered his resignation. I accepted it, and his last day will be tomorrow. He has not been working in the building since he was out Wednesday, remote Wednesday and Thursday. My priority also, as for a high-level town employee, is to make sure that when there is a transition, that our department heads have as much information as they can, and I have as much information as I can, of initiatives that we need information on to move that work forward. Feel confident that we're in this place for a lot of areas, and that is where we are right now. But hear your concerns, and for the public, take the oversight of taxpayer dollars very seriously, and that when there's an internal audit, we will present it and we will take action on it.
I appreciate that, and I think that, based on the information that was presented at both of those meetings, I do have concerns with access to our financial systems in town, based on what was disclosed. So I would just encourage the IT department to do what they have to do to make sure that information is secure. And I appreciate
it has been. It's really been more as access to just email to be able to communicate as we're just wrapping things up, because do not want to leave major projects without the information we need.
Thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything? Any announcements? Anything? Well, there must be an announcement. What? Anything? Anything coming up?
I've been a nursemaid for the past. I have nothing to really announce. So, I'm glad it's still nice outside.
I'm trying to think if there's any events this
When
weekend.
is the Pink Pledge event?
The 26th. So we'll just September 26th.
I think maybe we could have Penny come visit us our next meeting.
Ooh, I love that idea.
It would be nice if she was here today. Could use the puppy hug.
I mean, if you had,
I have a puppy,
if you
but-
had asked, I'm sure. Well, I can't say that because she came to town hall.
I saw you with her.
Oh, she was
quite jealous. I just want to say that you were snuggling that cute puppy.
She is absolutely adorable, but she may be in puppy school right now. I don't know, her schedule may be tight. We'll have to check, but I'll check with the chief and see if Penny can come.
Actually, isn't there some type of dog days that are coming up this weekend or something?
Is that this?
Or is that the weekend after?
That's right,
There's
the
something-
Harvest Festival.
There's some type of harvest with parade, a dog parade. Is Penny going to be in the dog costume parade?
Oh my God.
What about your dog? Can your dog go in the dog parade?
He can't go. He's too rambunctious. He's very good, but he's just a little hyper.
All right,
Because he's a boy, just want to say.
Yep.
A little more training.
Oh, and you're two cute
I have a
dogs
boy
too.
and a
I don't have
girl.
any. I was thinking of bringing the girl. You're two
Oh,
dogs.
you're-
All right,
good.
all right. With that,
Town attorney, we now have to go into executive session. Executive session with town attorney Philip Pierce to discuss a personnel matter related to the Director of Human Resources, possible action after executive session to approve agreement. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Ms. Kupchak, second?
second.
Ms. Follier? And while we're doing this little
Thank
swim.
you.
Recording in progress.
Can I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? We are out of executive session. Can I have a motion to approve the agreement as discussed in executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 2-0-1. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.